expecting to have to follow that, so I haven't brought a dance with me. I am sorry. I will put one in for next time. Right. As you may guess, I am not Craig, Tom, Lizzie and Joanne, but I am here representing them. So I'm going to hopefully be able to tell you a little bit more about their story. These guys, very unusually for us, actually knew each other before they came to Cape. So they all work in the Cwmtacwyn Primary Health Board. So 3 of them, Tom, Joe and Lizzie all worked in one team, and they were already looking at some ways of repurposing plastic medical waste. And Craig, who worked in States, was already looking at what on earth he could do with a huge quantity of cardboard waste that was coming out of the hospital. So, they're the names, but these are the faces. So, I don't know how many CAPE participants we've got here, but you may recognise that as going with residential. Yes, a few smiles in the audience there. These were the most raucous group that we have ever had in our residential group. So I am really upset that I missed it, because apparently they had an absolute whale of a time, and at one point they were trying to get see how many people they could fit in one bathtub. Eventually they became the Big Ten team, and as you can see, the whole Motley crew are all standing there now. And our particular group started calling themselves the Art of the Possible team. So they were looking at how to repurpose medical waste in general. So the Chief Medical Advisor called the NHS a significant polluter, and the annual report said that the health service actually creates nearly 600,000 tonnes of waste every year. And that's more than some European countries. The whole of them are municipal waste for some European countries, places like Cyprus and Luxembourg. So Professor Dame Sally Davis said healthcare organisations create huge amounts of waste, and as the NHS is one of the fifth biggest employer in the whole of the world, then they really need to start looking at the amount of their pollution footprint. So, well, we recognise that if you've got medical waste, some of it is not going to be recyclable. So we've got infectious material, biohazard material. But they reckon between 75 and 90% of all of the waste that is coming out of the NHS isn't a biohazard, it isn't infectious. And this is what we're looking to work with. So our groups were now going through their residential. They were trying to define their challenge, and they were really caught between the two different challenges of the cardboard waste, and Craig was looking at the cardboard waste. Tom was looking at how do we repurpose medical orthotics, plastics, like the orthotic boot for your feet. They were looking between the two of them, and they came up with because they'd already worked on looking at plastics, they decided that on their group they were going to try and demonstrate the art of the possible for all of the people in their organisation, the staff and the industry partners that they would be working with, and for the end users. They were trying to demonstrate the art of the possible. So how can we get a robust, sustainable and manageable process that managed with the circular economy for sustainable circular plastics in the NHS. So, was possibly their challenge going to be the circularisation of plastics? They did think that because this was their ongoing project, this would be the way to go forwards. So they did quite a lot of research on how we manage plastics within the NHS. And as you can see, it's incredibly complicated. As they got deeper and deeper into the project, they could see that there were some really overwhelming problems within this, trying to change the system. And not all of those problems were going to be overcome in the space of one 10-month project. So they were told, do they go back to the project and say, we're going to look at one specific area? Or do they look at Craig's original idea of cardboard recycling? And unfortunately, Craig because he had ill health, had to leave the community of practice. So naturally, it seemed a really good idea to go with his idea. And so we started looking at the problem of tackling cardboard waste within the NHS. And as usual, we didn't do this any normal way. We're going to do it cake style. So it wasn't about reading, it wasn't about figures and facts. We are looking about people and their lived experience. We're listening, we're empathising. We're learning that not everybody describes the same things in the same ways, helped by, again, for the cake participants, little bits of plastic and a blindfold. We'd all see things very differently. And they wanted to go out and find out how people saw things. So we taught them stakeholder mapping. They learned how to go and find people that they needed to talk to. And they considered the assumptions that they were making. What assumptions are we making, and how does that affect the problem that we're looking at? And they came across this. This is the research that they did. This is how we were doing the collection of the cardboard. We were hiring a skip. The skip was being hired on a monthly basis. Vera was coming and collecting with a big truck twice a week. They were going to come and collect all the cardboard. And that was going to go to their recycling plant. It was going to be split between the dirty waste, which would be going up to North Wales, and clean waste, which was going to the south of England. And some of it was going to go to China. Quite a lot of this, the NHS cardboard, was being shipped back to China. So they thought, we've got to be able to do this slightly better. So we redefined the problem, and it became, how might we demonstrate the art of the possible to create social value for all of our colleagues through the repurposing of cardboard and cardboard waste to satisfy the circular economy. The new process. From now on, they'll be working with Elite. Elite is a social enterprise which helps people who would otherwise find it a struggle to get into employment. Elite already works with the group because they take confidential waste and bring empty bins twice a week. So they would come, but now the hospital would actually purchase their own cardboard skip, and the cardboard would be taken twice a week at no extra cost because Elite was already coming to get the other waste. The cardboard would then go to Merthyr Tydfil and would be split into clean and dirty recycling. The dirty recycling would have to go and be processed or either incinerated or recycled. But the clean bedding, bear in mind this is 75 to 90% of all of this cardboard, could be recycled locally by Elite to make pet bedding. So this is what they did by partnering with this local social enterprise. They created lots of extra value. They're going to make £1,550 annually saved, but most importantly, they were going to support a local social enterprise supporting 66 disadvantaged and disabled staff and volunteers into training and local employment, creating massive social value instead of waste. Actually demonstrate the financial, economic, environmental and social value that they could bring by changing the system. They were able to win in with hearts and minds of the people that they were working with. Their relationship with Elite has developed, and everyone's keen on finding new ways to create social value, even though they realise that as we move forward in the circular economy, we'll be moving away from systems that generate waste. We can move with that. So, and the orthopaedic bits aren't off the table either, because Tom is now in a multi-million-pound application with universities in Wales to explore hospital circularisation of the plastic waste that they have. So, I wish they could have been here today. Thank you very much.